Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for another edition of the Arms Bumanlag Project coming to you live this evening. It is August 9th, 2022. Happy to have you along for the ride. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and we're on Twitter, rebroadcast of this particular program. I was doing the numbers, crunching the numbers for this show since we started about a year and a few months ago. We're at like 79 episodes and counting. Now, don't let the number on this episode fool you. It says this is episode 33, but we're in season 2. We're breaking down each season because the show will progress. We'll be doing different things. We'll be talking to different people. We'll be getting interactive with you. This is what the project is all about. So you can listen to the podcast. Perhaps if you would not like to see our beautiful faces, that's okay. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts. You can find it on Spotify, Anchor FM as well. And you can also take a look at the entire library of the Arms Bumanlag Project, where Windsor comes to talk. It's up on my Facebook page and on my YouTube page as well. So hopefully you're having a pretty good summer. I was saying to somebody the other day, my God, here we are in the midst of things. It is August 2022. I don't know if you feel like I do, but the summer has just flown by. And I have a ton of different commitments that are coming through the pipeline. Personal commitments, professional commitments, commitments to my family and my friends. And of course to this show. And I'm going through my list of like people I wanted to talk to. And I thought, you know, what's a really good topic is wedding season here in Windsor, Essex. Something that we can kind of talk about in terms of, you know, weddings in general. You know, weddings seem to be back in the full swing of things, and people are getting together and they're thinking, okay, well, how are we going to make this work? How are we going to do it post COVID? So I thought I would talk to an expert on today's program, somebody who I consider a dear friend. I got to know this guy through my on-air work at CKLW, believe it or not, way back in the day. He was a listener. He was a fan. And we became friends, close enough to actually officiate my wedding back in 2016. And I've been up on the altar with him, and I've also been a part of ceremonies that he's officiated as well, including one that's coming up soon. So joining me on the show is my good buddy, Mr. Jim McDowall, who is joining us live here on the project. Jim, what's shaking, buddy? How are you?
Hey, what's happening, brother?
Oh my God. Well, it's good to connect with you, man. It has been a slice.
Yeah.
So let's talk, man. Like, how you been holding up in the wedding biz, Mister? See, people watching the show, I will refer to Jim as Padre. That was an affectionate nickname I used to give him after after he officiated our wedding too. But how you been, man? How are things? What's shaking with you in the wedding biz?
Wedding business has been busy, even through the big cough, COVID. A lot of people ended up doing backyard stuff.
Sure.
The last year and a half, 2 years, I've spent more time in people's backyards than I care to count. Got lots of landscaping ideas, but none of which I'm going to do because I'm an inside guy. I am not an outside guy at all. So. A lot of backyards. Got a lot of couples coming back and want to do the full fluff and booking wineries and whatnot, and yeah, going through it again like they're not married, and I think they just want to do the big kiss in front of a big crowd again. Is what the plan is. So
Yeah, I think that's part of it too, right? And I wanted to talk to you about that. If you're not familiar, and then I'll get Jim to give a kind of a synopsis of what he does. He is a wedding officiant, and is somebody that like we should give somebody, the folks at home, a sort of a primer of how you and I kind of got together. I know you're listening to my old radio show, and then I had talked about how I got engaged, and we were going through the whole process back in 2015. And I think you reached out to me, if I'm not mistaken, to saying, "Hey, you know what? I get people married." Right. And I said to Kerri, I'm like, you know what, let's meet him for coffee. And I think we met you at the Tim Hortons, if I'm not mistaken, on Walker Road near the assembly plant. And
I believe that was our first meeting. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it just kind of,
you dropped the big news on the radio, and I started writing a note and dropped off a little package with cards and information at the station. And I think it was later that afternoon there was a phone message from you, and I went running upstairs, talking to my partner, and I said to her, I said, "Hey, he likes me." It was
I called it. I'm like,
to somebody in school, right? And they write back, yeah. So a little bit of phone tag, and yeah, next thing I know, I'm meeting Arms Bumanlag and his future wife at a Tim Hortons. Look at me.
Oh man, it was just. I mean, that was one of the things I used to pride myself in doing the on-air work in the traditional sense, is like having that connection with the public to say, And I still maintain that no matter everything that's happened over the last 2.5 years, that Windsor is a good place because we're all 5 degrees separated. I was just saying that to somebody today that, you know,
Yeah,
if chances are, if you don't know somebody, you'll get to know them, and you kind of want to treat people on that same kind of level that you would want to be treated. And I think that's what clicked with you and I, certainly with my wife and I. My wife loved you, still does. Is that you were just an honest, genuine, funny, engaging guy. So it made sense for us to hire
yeah.
you to get our
Say
thing
hi to
going
Lisa.
here.
That's my car dealer that just popped up there. So
Oh, Lisa Westlake there. Yeah, she's on the stream on LinkedIn. So
yeah,
checking you out.
yeah. My worlds are colliding. Just recently, some people that I used to work with at the board got to meet one of my brothers, and they do a common education related podcast thing with a guy out of Hamilton,
Nice.
and, and so yeah, they just got together. So yeah, everything's colliding. Um, yeah, so I got to watch what I say now because it's going to get back to family now. Yeah,
You're on the hot seat, right? Well, that's what I
yeah,
said to somebody. Finally biting the bullet and doing this type of broadcast last year about this time. I said, it's the beauty of podcasting because there's no set rules, there's no set limit. You kind of just go from the cuff, and if I can offer that from a local level, why not? But
yeah.
I,
No, it's great. I've caught most of the shows. Your that first one I think with Adriano, we got a little silly there, but he was your best man, was he not?
Yeah, he was in the wedding party. I didn't. I wanted him to be best man, but it was funny because like we were close, but not super close. Like we're closer now in 2022 than we were when we were doing the
Yeah.
cooking segment on CHWI. But I roped him into being the MC. So he was like the MC, and he had all the Coles notes because he couldn't pronounce the Filipino last names and stuff.
That's the
But he was
part.
the MC at my wedding.
That's the toughest part. It's the names. I mean, recently I've had a few kerfuffles where I'm in the middle of things. Things are going great, and it was a friend of my sister's. Her name's Natalie, and doing their vows, she I called her Nicole, and and I looked and my comeback was I got to start proofreading this stuff before I come out here because I have no idea where it came from.
It just
So, yeah, it's just one of you look like a Nicole. I've done it a couple of times, but you just kind of laugh it off. Um,
Yeah, I think that's one of the beautiful things with you, like just seeing you over the years. I certainly at our wedding, but then at weddings I've attended that you've officiated, that you're able to kind of have that like radio. That nothing phases you. You can jump back into the swing of things and go.
it helps not being a serious guy.
Yeah.
I'm not friend that you shouldn't sit beside at a serious function. It might break out, and I sometimes I got no control over it. I like having
So
fun, and I got into doing this. My sister got married back in 2011, and I've been talking about it, and she kind of pushed me into doing it. So yeah, had fun. Talk about nervous. I think I was really nervous at that one, almost as nervous as I was at yours, because
oh,
I
you see,
I figured, honestly, I figured if with all those news people there, one way or another, I'm going to end up on TV, and it's not going to be good.
coincidentally, there wasn't a ton of like, and somebody had asked me that the other day. Actually, my buddy Jeff, who you're going to be doing, my buddy Jeff is getting married in September, and you're going to be officiating his wedding with his lovely wife to be Stephanie. Um, and we were talking about weddings and stuff, and Jeff and Steph in 2016 weren't a thing yet. So we were talking about their wedding and everything. Steph had said, "Did you have a lot of like news people?" I said, "Actually, surprisingly, I didn't. I think there's people that you work with, and I think there's people that you consider friends that you work with, right? And I think there's a differentiation between the two. Certainly, I know Jimmy was there, Jim Crichton.
Great
I had
guy.
a couple of producers I worked with over the years. Kyle Horner is doing great things on AM 800 now. Chris Tolmie, who used to be on the air at AM 800, was there as well. But it was just, I try to keep it very intimate. And I think for our wedding, I know that we really stretched the numbers. I think we had like 180. A lot of my dad's side of the family was there. So a lot of Filipino people from Toronto. And then my wife's side of the family from her dad and mom's side. And they're uh, their significant others, and Kerri's stepdad and stepmom. So
Yeah.
it's weddings can I mean, you know better than most, right, Jim? Like weddings, you can do 10 people, or weddings can go up to like 400, 500 people, right? It
Yeah.
really depends on the theme of the wedding, and I guess the appetite for the
Couldn't
family.
do one with 400 people. But it doesn't really matter to me. I concentrate on me, the bride and groom, and if a dog starts barking, I'll quiet him down, that sort of thing. But once I get going, I just focus around the people that are in front of me and pretty much ignore everybody else. Um, Except at family weddings. I've done a few family weddings other than my sister. And you look out and you go, crap, I know everybody out there. Oh, you just kind of, the anxiety starts going up, and no, I think most of them like me, so I'm okay. I'm okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think family weddings are the worst to do, but I'll do them. I'll be there before anybody else. But
That's awesome.
big crowds, like I've done 10 people in someone's backyard up to 100, 200 people at a winery or down at the St. Clair's Center and stuff like that. So it really doesn't matter to me. I'm going to do it. Um, I tell couples I get there about a half an hour or so before just to settle the anxiety, because that getting there is the tough part. But once that microphone's up and hey, welcome everybody, and it's just the blood pressure goes down, the screaming in my ears goes away, and I get into it and have fun. That's why I'm there. That's why I got into doing this. Um, I used to do videos back in the late '70s, and people were very strict. Of course, most of it was in churches and whatnot. And I'm behind the lens going, I can do that. That's easy. So here I am, 270 ceremonies later, and
Oh my God.
got another 20 on the go this year. So having fun.
Yeah, I tell if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, right?
That's right.
That's what I kind of subscribe myself to, and I think certainly with the pandemic, I've said many times on this broadcast, I think the pandemic has been a game changer for a lot of folks.
Yeah,
People who kind of take a step back and say, okay, what do I want to? My time is finite, and what I want to do is find something that really brings me joy, and I think
yeah,
people are gravitating to that. So kudos to you to continue to do what you love to do, and you're good at it as well. So,
yeah.
um,
I started doing this about a year before I retired from my real job, and I loved doing what I did there. I would been in IT for 40 years with the public school board, and like you said, you don't work a day in your life if you're enjoying what you're doing. Still dabble in a little bit of software development now, and that's keeps most of my days busy when mom's not yelling at me. Um, yeah, I mean, I tell couples there's two things you got to do to make it legal. That's one, you got to say, yeah, you're there willingly and freely without coercion or reservation to be lawfully married. And the other one is I watch you sign documents. Outside of that, we can do whatever you want. So wide open, get other people involved. I got one coming up later on in the year where his brother's going to do most of the ceremony. Uh,
wow,
I'm there to do the legal part. Anybody can do the ceremony. It's you got to be licensed in order to
to make
sign
it
the
official.
in
Yeah,
Ontario,
yeah.
and all the provinces in Canada. But I'm legal in the province of Ontario, so have license. Will travel, and yeah, we'll get her done. So yeah, it's a blast. I just having fun. Got to make a note that I'm doing Jeff, so we'll have to work on something for that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny. It's because it's like my buddy Jeff. Well, first of all, before we get into the whole wedding thing coming up, I just want to give a shout out to some good folks over at Motor City Chrysler, Jason and the team sponsoring this show for the rest of the season 2 of the Arms Bumanlag Project. Thank you for driving good news and great conversation in Windsor, Essex. Check them out today at the corner of Walker and Tecumseh for all your new and used cars needs. You can also check them out online at motorcitychrysler.ca. When
And
you talk a little bit about what's that?
we're back.
And we're back. It's just like that, right? It's like he's done it before. It's funny because
You dropped those. They were just very nice.
yeah, well,
Nice.
it's not like I committed 20 years of my life doing it, but
Yeah. Do you recall the first real text conversation that you and I had?
I do. I don't. No, no. Lay it on me. Lay it on me.
Okay. Back when you were doing traffic for the
Oh
morning
God.
show,
Yeah, yeah.
I'd sent you an email saying that it was International Pirates Day. And look at the face. He's
I
remembering it now.
I
You
kind of
wrote
know
me
where this
back.
is going, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, you wrote me back and asked me if I was a pirate. And I said, I got to go find out where this guy is right now doing the traffic. I got to go meet him. So we're
Those
happy.
were like
I got
I
this message. What, are you a pirate? Maybe. You know.
depends. Are you
So
gonna put
we've
me on the air?
been following you ever since. So you've been all over the map. But
Oh yeah. It's
you
I've
keep
had
landing on your feet, brother. But that's good.
yeah. I I look at some of the stuff I've done over the last 20 years. Like I had this conversation too, actually, with my buddy Jeff. We were kind of reminiscing. I took him out on the water on Sunday, and we were just kind of reminiscing and talking because I've known Jeff for almost 25 years, right? And he's been through the best of times and the worst of times with me. And, it's like there was like a section in 2007 to 2008 where we didn't talk, but not because there was any ill will. It just kind of life pulls people apart. But then all of a sudden, life brought us back together again, right? So, but we were kind of reminiscing about the days of radio, and we were talking about the traffic stuff and how we used to listen in the morning. And I sometimes look at stuff like that. I'm like, I can't believe I did that for as long as I did. It was a great opportunity, but I mean, my God, I mean, nowadays you look at all the apps that you have, like even in my car, when I get into the gym in the morning, like I've got traffic updates in my car.
Yeah.
It's all satellite now, right? It's just changed so much in the last like 5, 6 years,
Yeah.
especially. So,
You've
but
always had so much going on. That's you've talked to people. How's he do it? He does traffic in the morning, then he does a noon hour thing, and then he's got to bugger off over to the TV station to do the weather. And whether you're going to get blown off the roof that night or anything like that, we don't know. And then you're off and doing it all over again. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I loved what I did, right? As a single guy at the time, for the majority of that, I loved what I did. But when I met Kerri, priorities shifted. Um, I kind of started to slow down a little bit, and you work somewhere for 20 years, and you wave that black flag as quickly as you can, and it comes to a point where all good things must come to an end, right?
yeah,
um, One of the things somebody had said to me about going to do TV, I said, the icing on the cake for that was always getting to work with Jim. And I know you know Jim very well, right? And Jim was just a consummate professional in every sense of the word, and I dare I say one of the last great anchor men. Um, he's Jim is Jim, and
well,
we've had Jim on the show. He's an
yeah.
awesome guy.
I met him after your ceremony. We're downstairs having an afternoon beverage, and I saw him across the room, and they hey, that's Jim right now. Made a beeline for him, and he saw me coming. He always had this big grin on his face.
Yeah.
I can just remember this big crazy face. But yeah, I'll have to email Jeff and Stephanie later and give them some ideas. Maybe writing their own vows or something. I don't know if they're into that or they signed up for a short one, so I don't know what all their plans are, but I'll reach out to them and hey, I know you're best man. You're in trouble.
You guys are in trouble now. Like we know our arms is. Well, it's just funny because Jeff said to me, he's like, I get a text from him, and he says, "Hey, dude, I just got engaged." I'm like, and he's been with Steph for a while, and you know what? They're phenomenal together. Like one of those couples that is just amazing. And I was like, good for you, but it was just like out of left field, right?
Yeah,
And and then he asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you want to be my best man?" Like I'm like, "Oh yeah." So
yeah,
I said to Kerri, I go, I have not had this opportunity in a friend sense ever in my 40 years. I've never been surprisingly, but never been asked to stand in a wedding party. And I've never been asked, let alone to be a best man. So I've kind of hounded Jeff to say, like, yeah, like, what do you want me to do? How do we do it? And then, um, I said to him, I go, I know he's busy doing his thing. I'm busy with my thing with now my two kids and,
yeah.
all the different work projects I have on the go. I said to him, I go, listen, I want to do something with you. So we got on the water on Sunday and we went sea doing, and
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Wait,
And it,
did he text you and say Stephanie's not my girlfriend anymore?
yeah,
You
he
know
said,
where that can go.
out of the blue, he texts me and he's like, so I got engaged. And I'm like, what? Like, I can't. And then I'm texting staff and I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've got his bachelor party this weekend. We're gonna go golfing at Ambassador on Saturday, which is gonna be good. And then we're going out to Wolfhead Saturday night. Kind of low key with the whole wedding party. And then I got to take the boy Liam in because Liam's going to be a ring bearer, which I thought was totally awesome.
Oh, is he going to
Um,
the security ring security with the
yeah,
earpiece and the
yeah,
briefcase?
yeah. He's gonna carry around. He's got like a little cap. He takes after his dad, right? He's like obsessed now. His new obsession right now is Captain America. It's Captain America all the time.
Jeez, I wonder how he got that going.
Yeah, well, I mean, so lo and behold, right? So he's gonna do that, but we got to go get him suited up. So we're gonna take him. I think it's at Collins. We got to go to Collins and get suited up.
Oh, great.
But yeah, it's a blessing, man.
Ring bearers and flower girls always steal the show.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
so
ready for
he's a
that.
ham bone when he's at home, like he is. Like he's just such an imaginative guy, little kid. He loves to like think things through. He's got tons of toys. Like everyone thinks is my office right over there is like Liam's toy room, literally. But he's the type of kid where he gets a little shy. So I'm really interested to see how that goes. And coincidentally, Jeff and Steph's wedding is the first week of Liam's first week of school, like actual school. He
Oh,
starts kindergarten
all
this
right.
September.
Pitch back, but yeah, yeah, yeah,
So it's like, holy cow, where did time go? You know what I mean?
yeah. No, it'll be fun. He'll, I'm sure he'll do all right. I've seen him acting up in videos and stuff, so he'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get him to drive up in the Batmobile or something. Doesn't he have an electric Batmobile?
He's got one. He's got one. He's got one for my mom and my dad. He's got a dune buggy. He's got like for Tonka trucks and stuff like Power Wheels. He's got it covered in the garage. So
Yeah, well, have him drive up with the in the Batmobile and deliver the rings, and then you
so
can.
let me ask you this about weddings and about the region. I've always said, and I think you and I've talked about this many times over the years too, about how lucky we are to be surrounded by water and wineries and all these picturesque
Yeah,
places. Do you think are we doing enough to sort of sell ourselves, I think, as like a wedding area? Like we've got like Augustus 21, we've got all these great, like, should we be doing more? Is that something that you think we should be doing post
yeah,
pandemic? Yeah.
yeah. Should be doing a lot more. I've on Instagram. I've been tagging all my pictures that I take at the venues and tagging them YQG weddings.
Hmm.
It was something started a few years back. But get it out there. Yeah, they gotta push it. I know St. Clair College, the center uh, downtown, do a lot. They get a lot of Facebook postings and Twitter out there. We got this, we got that. But yeah, we got to do a lot more because there's so much around here. I mean, you can get married anywhere that you want. Like if you have access to the property, go for it. There's tons of places that are out in the county. Uh, uh, One place, J&L Farms, they have a bunch of different sites, and it's like you're in the middle of nowhere. You wouldn't realize that Highway 20 is only like half a kilometer away because it's just all trees and bushes and stuff. So I mean, there's all kinds of locations. Um, yeah, people can get married anywhere. Like I said, if you got access to the property, use it, and away you go. Um, I talked a buddy of mine out of getting married at City Hall, and we ended up doing a ceremony on a roof of a building overlooking City Hall. So,
Oh, very cool. That's very cool.
long story behind that one, but yeah, he had access because of the business that he's in, and he knows the building manager, so he let us up, and I said, "Look at this City Hall right there," and you didn't want to get married at City Hall, so like 200 meters away from City Hall, so save him a few bucks.
Because
Yeah, yeah,
weddings can be holy cow, man. Like I was hearing about some of the stuff that even Jeff's going through, and I'm like, my God, this. I mean, you can go. The sky's the limit on what you can do for a wedding. I think is if you've got a budget to it, they can make it happen.
yeah, yeah. If the tourism in this area wants something new to kick at, then yeah, get them on the wedding bandwagon. There's lots of officiants in the area. Um, yeah, you're wide open. You need like an hour tops, and yeah, get it out there. A lot of the wineries are more than willing to help you out, get things going. Um, yeah, there's so many places that need to get the word out. Everybody, like I've heard people, online somewhere else, come on down to Windsor,
Sure.
we'll get it done. But like even in just the Windsor Essex County area, it's crazy. You get out to Chatham. I've been to a couple at the armories in Chatham, and that's a great spot as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, if like I said, you got access to the property, use it. Get in there. Don't be afraid to go in and ask.
So with a few minutes left to go here on the episode, Jim, and you've done so many weddings, what is the secret to a good marriage?
People like to say happy wife, happy life. I, I prefer the term happy spouse, happy house. So much better.
That's brilliant.
You just, I tell couples, that, you're saying your vows. It's important to, renew them every day. And they look at you like, I got to memorize this every day, get up in the morning. I promise that. No, you renew your vows just by being open, honest, and respectful to your partner. That's all it takes. Outside of that, you're on your own.
Good luck to you, and may the odds be ever in your favor. To quote,
yes, exactly.
It's a great quote, Hunger Games, right?
Yeah, exactly. And no, it just that's what I tell people. Don't do what I did. Do as I say, not as I do.
As you do.
But just being open and honest and respectful is the key. Because I tell them, I said, it sounds simple enough, but there will be times. Believe me, there will be times when you're wondering why I did this. But just remember the moment, and just respect the other person that you're living with, and you're good. You're good Perfect. To go.
My man, take care of yourself. I'm going to see you on September 17th at the
Yep.
big Hoot-to-Do. Looking forward to it. Yeah, you better be there. Otherwise, it's not official if you ain't there.
Well, we can sign papers later. You
just don't worry about it. You're good. You guys are good.
I'll text you if I'm going to be late, and you can start without me.
Oh, I'm going to be just sitting there like trying to put out fires. And I said, like, I'm going to be like the best man. And I want to make sure it's all good. So they don't have to, those two kids don't have to worry about it. But
I'm going to send you a link to a best man obligation form that I think you should use on Jeff. If you've known him that well.
Yeah. Please do. I'll put it on there, and then we'll sign our lives away. Jim, take care of yourself, man. It's always been a pleasure. You've been just an awesome dude, and I'm proud to call you a friend. So thanks for joining me here for the chit chat today.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, bud. Absolutely. Jim McDowall, who is a wedding officiant, just an awesome guy, and big YQG supporter here in the Windsor Essex area. He just knows his stuff about weddings. He's done quite a bit of them, over 200 here locally. So definitely check him out if you've got social media. Find his Facebook page as well. That's going to do it for this edition of the Arms Bumanlag Project. We've got another episode coming up next week. We're live Tuesday nights here at 8 o'clock, and we have some exciting news coming down the pipe for this particular program. Stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.